So now I'm going to show you the most easiest effective steelhead fly probably anywhere in the United States. And it's the Nuke Egg. I'm still a big fan of egg flies, and I tie hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of egg flies for spring and for fall even. Probably most of my fall now I swing though. That's kind of my preferred method, is teaching people how to swing flies. But the egg fly is still very, very effective. You could probably write a whole book on just what colors to fish when and why. That's how effective it is. You know, if you fish eggs enough, you'll find that, for instance, this fly that we're going to tie today is chartreuse in dark orange, which is very effective in dirty water situations. The chartreuse egg fly works really well in higher dirty water. But I get a lot of questions from a lot of clients and people that even, you know, they just tie on their own and go out fishing, and that's always probably the biggest question, and is how do you make the nucleus in such a nice little ball like this. And to me the biggest key when tying these is less is more, and you want to use for this part the McFly foam, and then for the halo part, which would be this, the chartreuse color or whatever colors you're doing, you want to use actual egg yarn. But you'll see you don't need a lot of it. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. These fish, you know, I believe, like I said, they're more focused on the color for which situation either the water temp is or the water clarity. Clearer the water, you want to go more neutral colors, something a little more subtle like Oregon cheese in a lighter orange or peach for the core. Sometimes even orange and just white works really well. And you kind of base fishing eggs too on what the eggs in the river might look like. So if you're fishing for steelhead in the fall and it's early on and there's still salmon around and they're still spawning, you want to stick with more of your, you know, actual natural tones like a salmon orange or a steelhead orange type color. So it's kind of mimicking the actual color of the egg. As those eggs are deposited and they're rolling around in the current, they'll start to turn more of a molted like white color or peach color or the cheese color. And then, like I said, as the water gets dirtier, more colors like the chartreuse, something blink, you know, much brighter that they can key in on. Charisse, pink works well. So that's basically, you know, the steps of fishing an egg fly or tying egg flies. So it's always good to have a lot of different colors in your box to choose from for whatever, you know, the water clarity or what the situation is if the salmon are still in the fall and they're spawning. So you don't, you know, if you're fishing nymphs a lot, where you're fishing these under an indicator or even bouncing them off the bottom, you're going to lose a lot of them too. So it's always good to have your fair share of egg flies in your boxes in different colors and sizes. So all we're going to use, and these are just egg hooks is what they're called basically. They're a straight eye, short shank type hook, heavy wire, because we're fishing for, you know, steelhead or even, you know, coho salmon, king salmon, they'll eat an egg too. So it's basically just a heavy wire. This is a number 6. If I wanted to fish them smaller, I would definitely use a smaller hook. For me, when guiding, I don't go anything below an 8. I like having more of that hook gap. I tend to find like if you tie them on a smaller hook, you're just going to be more apt to lose that fish when it's jumping or rolling. So a big key into this too is you got to have a heavy thread, because we're going to cinch this stuff down, and this yarn, you know, if you don't get a good thread wrap either, it's going to roll on you. So you want a heavy duty ultra thread. This is the 140, and because we're doing chartreuse, I kind of match my thread to what my halo of my Nuke Egg at the end is going to be. So we're just going to run chartreuse, and we're just going to start our thread wrap a little bit back behind the eye, and we're going to wrap. Basically, we're focusing on wrapping right here in the middle. That's where we're going to lay our stuff down. So I'm just putting a good thread wrap right in the middle here. So now, like I said, less is more. What we want to do is we're going to take the McFly foam And it kind of comes in strands. And I'm gonna just take a couple big thick strands like so. And when I cut this, I want to use basically a scissors that I devote to egg flies, because this stuff will dull your scissors out eventually. And usually when I start this process and tie dozens and dozens of them for guiding, is I'll take this stuff and I just pre-cut it all. And I'll lay it out on my desk, so that way it's all there. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two pieces, and right in the middle here I'm going to lay them over and cinch them down. And I'm just making this for the nucleus, so the core of the egg. If I was fishing this and I wanted to make it really big on a big hook, I would add more of the McFly foam, but you can see just two strands. And then when I pull it up, it's kind of wrapped all around the base and the bottom of the hook. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to make pressure. So I'm pulling on it and I'm putting pressure on it. And I'm going to take my scissors, and as I'm pulling up and putting that pressure on it, I'm coming down pretty low, and I'm just going to snip it, just like that. You move it around with your fingers, it poofs out like a sponge, and then there you have your core or your nucleus. Covers that whole hook. It makes a perfect little ball, and that's all you need to do. Now for the halo part, like I was saying with both of these materials, less is more. So I'm just going to get a little chunk, and I usually cut it first, and then I'm not even going to use all this. I'm only going to take like about this much of it, maybe a pencil diameter of it, and I'm going to kind of flatten it out like so, and I'm going to take it and just wrap it all the way around that hook, and then I'm going to tie it. And same thing, just a few good wraps, I'm going to cinch it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and same thing, I'm just going to basically work it around that hook and flatten it out so I get it all to come back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put pressure on this by pulling it back, but then I'm going to push it forward and just cut it so it's behind that nucleus a little bit. So I'm going to put pressure, push forward, so it forms like a halo. And then when the current hits that, it's going to collapse it into almost a perfect little ball. And that's a nuke egg. Pretty simple. You're just going to whip finish.
If you like this video, please like and subscribe so this channel can grow and bring more content you would like to see. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Good luck fishing.